Happy Sunday! Yay! It's finally starting to feel a little bit like spring here, which means we have amazing, horrifying wind. I hate wind. I will be outside moving in just about anything, but when it's windy, I'm inside no matter what. So, as we get ready to talk about training, which this might be the first normal training year we've had in about 3 years, probably since 2019. So for a lot of us, we're back in the office, kids are back at school. The pandemic is not over, but that is not even trying to get political about it. But we are no longer having to endure like the quarantine type restrictions any longer. And things feel a whole lot more normal. So a lot of people are saying cautiously optimistic about doing fall races, including me. I can't defer again, so I went ahead and signed up for the New York City Marathon. If you're planning on going, let me know. I'm not confident that I'm actually going to run it, but since I can't defer again, I thought might as well go ahead and hit the button, even though I'm probably not going to be ready for it. It won't be pretty either way. Yay. So want to congratulate Susan Dumas and Ann Rich, who ran the Austin half marathon today. Not just because that is a hilly half marathon, and it's tough. That's where Lance Armstrong decided to hang his hat and train for Tour de France. So it is not where I want to run a half, but I totally respect anyone who does. I just don't like hills. Not that much. And I don't like heat. Heat and hills, you get both in Austin. Not my cup of tea. But for those who do, you are badass AF. And congratulations to you. Also, congratulations to Erin Harkness. Her entire house has COVID. Way to overachieve. Just kidding. She also has a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old whose birthday parties had to be canceled as a result. And we are with you in spirit, celebrating. Oh my gosh, bless your heart, Addie and B. Anyway, on to the questions for the week. If you are getting ready to train for something or thinking about it, go ahead and hop in office hours and let's talk it out, because wind is a real thing and it's going to get worse before it gets better in most parts of the country. We still got a couple snows left in Colorado. It tends to snow at least once or twice a month up until May, Mother's Day. In between, it's sunny and beautiful. So there's no reason not to train for something. But this wind that's been happening the past couple days is enough of a deterrent. Look, you're not going to hit your paces. It is going to be miserable. It is literal energy, like gale force. You don't just, if you have the option to run indoors, it is going to feel better. It's going to be less work, literally less work. And you're going to get more out of it if you decide to be on the treadmill than if you're out facing and fighting the wind. If you choose to run in the wind, I'm not going to shame you about it. But I am saying that if you don't want to run in the wind and you're not a wimp, you're making the same choice that I would make just about any day, because F wind, man. One of the reasons why you hear me say F spring is because F wind. I will run in anything but, except heavy rain. And why? Heavy rain usually comes along with, like, really, really heavy rain comes along with wind. It's just cold and not fun. Brenda Haskell, another weekly win, is starting to recover from sinus surgery. Now, Brenda had the same procedure that I had done in 2020. 2020? I think it was 2020. When I had it done, I had a sinoplasty with turbinate reduction so I could breathe better. And here, 3 years later, it's still probably one of the most amazing things I've ever done. Brenda just had that done. She had she had a total of 6 little operations in there, though, fixing a lifetime of sinus stuff. And so she's not running yet, but she was able to go for a walk and volunteer at a local race. Hopefully the worst of the pain is behind her. And I know their stents are out, because it's miserable until the stents come out. But once they're out, it's like a whole new world. I hope that whole new world is opening up to you and that you are feeling a little bit better and cooler and more confident in this decision every single day, Brenda. Congratulations. Okay. As for the questions, do you have a suggestion for the alternative exercises for jumping rope? My pelvic floor and joints are telling me they aren't ready for the jumping. Cool. All right. If your pelvic floor isn't ready for this, then we need to do some Kegels, and we need to do them now. Please look into pelvic floor physical therapy. I promise you, it is a legitimate science. There's a whole field behind it. It's one of the best things you could possibly do. Most countries on the planet, after a woman gives birth, then we're required, everywhere but the United States, required to go for pelvic floor physical therapy to repair that part of our body after going through the incredibly traumatic thing of like either gestating a child or birthing a child. Or if you just if you're going through menopause, the hormonal changes are legit and real. And even if you've never been pregnant, will impact things down there. It's worth going to a specialist for just a few visits at least. Insurance will almost always cover it, and make sure that everything is like tightened up and working down there. So if pelvic floor, I'm guessing one of the reasons why you can't jump rope, I'm just going to imagine what that reason is. Let's do some Kegels. Let's make a point of doing that down there. And holding for 20 seconds, 3 or 4 times a day, sitting up straight, feet flat on the ground. Every time you do it, you should feel it drawing all the way up through into your chest when you sit. Press your belly bone to your belly button to your spine. Sit up straight, lock your cage, and it should feel like a zipper going all the way up into your sternum. Okay, think of it that way. Pleasant. But an alternative exercise. So part of the reason why we jump rope and why I like it so much is that if you jump rope 1 minute a day for a month, that's the metabolic equivalent of doing a tempo run every week. It's a big deal. Jumping is great. If you can't jump, it's not like you're missing out. But if there is a shortcut to strength and fitness and better, more efficient cardiovascular prowess, it's from jumping rope. So if you can't jump rope, I'm guessing you also can't do things like jumping jacks or calisthenics. Then what I would ask you to do, let's definitely replace it with Kegels. Let's also get on the floor and do some pelvic tilts, pressing the small of your back to the ground and holding for a count of 20 while doing a Kegel. That'll go a long way to strengthening that area and getting ready to do the jumping exercises. No question, but I just want to say how much I love the tiptoe program. Squee, I love hearing that. The workouts are exactly at the level I need right now, and I feel super successful, which motivates me to keep going. Yay! Thank you for telling me that. I really appreciate hearing it. It is hard as a coach and a business person to try to sell people things that they need, because more often than not, the thing that we need is not what we want to buy. And that asymmetry makes it really, really difficult to run a coaching business. So I was nervous when I put Tiptoe out there that, knowing that it's the program that I'm doing right now, might not be enough for people, or it wouldn't feel like enough for people. So I'm really, really glad it is. Plus, I've been having a lot of fun with the journal prompts. I have never been a person to journal. I'm one of those people who thinks I need to do this, and I kind of start and then I never keep with it. This year's been different. I've got a special little journaling notebook where I go off a different prompt every day and just make a few notes about, what my day was like. And it's interesting to look back on it over time. And I can see that I've been doing more, feeling more, and accomplishing more in 2023 than I've ever given myself credit for, which now makes me wonder how much I would have missed in 2021 and 2022, years where it felt like nothing really productive happened. So if you're not doing the journal exercises, I would encourage you to think about it, or at least just a sentence. It doesn't have to be I'm never going to be like, what was it, Heather's, the Winona Ryder's character in Heather's, wrote in her diary furiously every day. I'm never going to be that person, but it's nice to have a little record of what I've been doing, because it just gives a very much needed perspective. I've been doing a whole lot more than I thought. We're all doing more than we think we are. So I'm glad you're loving Tiptoe. I'm loving it too. I'm going to be returning to running after a COVID infection. Bless your heart. That's so hard. Can you suggest an example weekly schedule for how to slowly ease back into running when I'm ready? Here's the thing about COVID. We need to make sure that you're not doing anything strenuous until at least 48 hours have passed between testing or feeling symptomatic. And here's why. Long COVID is a bitch. It is awful. I know this because I had it. It's part of what caused all the metabolic issues that I've been dealing with for the last year, including my pancreas shutting down and developing type 2 diabetes. I've run otherwise healthy person. The reason doctors kind of push it all to the side is because there's not a whole lot they can do about it. COVID is a disease that attacks the blood vessels in a way that's part of why breathing becomes such an issue, and why the vaccine for so many has been such a critical component. Yes, it does not mitigate all aspects of infection. But the part that leads to the long-term complications is the part that has to do with your vascular system. And and you hear I say vascular system for a reason, because when we're exercising, we're using our cardiovascular system. Okay. So we need to make sure that your body is not compromised, that your vascular system is not compromised before we start trying to improve your cardiovascular system. If you don't follow me. So I would rather you waited like a full 2 or 3 days, longer than you would want. Don't feel guilty about how long you've been off. I really want you to take the time and not start again until 48 hours minimum from not feeling any symptoms. From the first day you feel good, then wait 2 more days before you start. And even then, I'm talking go for a walk. Do a light Peloton workout, one of those 20-minute recovery rides, and do those for 2 or 3 days. Again, the reason being, when we're stressing your cardiovascular system, your blood vessels are going to dilate, right? So more blood can flow through to your muscles, and you're going to be breathing more deeply, and you're going to be breathing harder. Now, again, why am I saying something so pedantic? All of that is really hard to do when you still actively have COVID. Those are the parts of your body that are compromised. So we don't need to be doing anything strenuous before we're certain. And even then, we need to kind of ease back in, because there's only so much strain this compromised part of our body can take. So a great first week would be 2 to 3 days of recovery rides and easy walks, power walks. And if that feels good, then go for a really controlled 20-minute no more jog. Then on day 5, if you feel better, make it 30 minutes. No long runs, no hard runs, no strides. Just getting your body used to that motion again and cleaning your lungs out and letting them get used to kind of opening up and flexing a little bit. Because if you go out there and overdo it with the compromised vascular system, you're going to get long COVID. You don't want long COVID. Doctors can't treat long COVID. It goes on for months and months and months and months and months. Ask me, ask Christine Lancaster. There have been several people talking about our experiences with long COVID in the private Facebook groups. And again, I understand that as hard as it is right now to talk about, there are a lot of things that are political that I wish weren't. I'm not going to try to convince anyone. I'm not going to say anything about vaccines and whatnot, and there's no shaming in my world. It's only my experience of how hard it was to overcome long COVID and all the medical trauma I've accumulated as a result of doctors who can't say we don't treat this, trying to tell me that like maybe I need a therapist, or does my husband not love me anymore? Like I'm here seeking attention. Doctors will almost never directly say we can't treat this, and we don't have bodies of research yet that have them confident connecting symptoms to COVID, let alone long COVID, because it's political now, and a lot of people don't want to hear that word. So doctors are, as much as I hate them, and this is one area where they're kind of between a rock and a hard place. There's just no good options. So let's try to, as much as possible, stay out of that position of having asked a physician for help for something they can't really help. And we can do that by taking an extra day or 2 and waiting, and then easing back in a really discreet way. So 20 minutes of walking, 20 minutes of recovery riding, another day of recovery riding or walking, then easy shuffling, jogging for about 30 minutes. Then if that's good, easy shuffling, jogging for 40 minutes, and then a day off, maybe another day off. And then from there, go into the first week of rebuild, or to even tiptoe. I don't know who wrote that question. If you're in the tiptoe program, you should be able to jump right back into the tiptoe workouts, because they're designed to be, easy, because we're tiptoeing. No strain. So avoiding anything strenuous is really the name of the game for about 10 days after. So the first day after COVID, when you feel good and asymptomatic, then you wait 2 days to start. Then 10 days later is the first day. So 12 days after your first day feeling good. 12 days is how long I would beg you to wait to do any workout that is harder than easy effort or longer than an hour. And I know it's a killer, But I promise you, 10 days versus the months and months and months of trying to get your body to heal from long COVID, it's worth it. You're worth it. Please wait. You're coached. You are loved. I hope I didn't lose anybody by saying those words. COVID sucks. But you know what doesn't? Susan Dumas and Ann Rich. Y'all don't suck. You're winning at life. Everybody's winning at life. Congratulations to the runners, all our racers this weekend. And I will see you next week. I love you. And come see me in office hours. I'm not going to be playing with an abacus this week. And if you don't know why I'm referencing an abacus right now, the only people I've really discussed this with, Coach Takia and the people in the Tiptoe program. It's a great story. It's worth hearing. Get in office hours, and I'll tell you.